How's it going, beautiful people of Instagram? This is Jose Trujillo. I am the world's greatest living artist, coming to you here from my art studio. I just got here. And I just wanted to share a little morning message with you guys. I'm getting in the habit of sharing little morning messages. I carry this thing around. It's a composition book. I always carry these things around. How's it going, Shanaz? How's it going, Kenneth? Good morning. Good morning, people. Those of you who are in the morning, those of you who are in the afternoon or somewhere in another part of the world. Cal Lopez, Del Toro, morning. So I carry this thing around with me everywhere I go. Okay? This is something that I carry. This is something that I don't know. I carry one everywhere, right? Different one. I probably burned through a few dozen of these at the very least. And since I started as a younger kid, I've been carrying different ones. It wasn't until about, I don't know, maybe a year that I actually started using it correctly. I used to carry it for ideas, right? Which is not a bad thing to do. I just got my morning latte. It tastes like heaven. So I used to carry a little thing like this, composition book, and write down ideas and things, whatever. After a while, I would have all these ideas, and then I would use them to paint, and some of them were sketches. Even though it's a composition book, I still use it to sketch. Just to have it handy with me, right? It wasn't until recently that I actually started using it correctly, and this is what I want to share with you guys. Look, you want to be looking at where you're going. And I'm not talking about just plans, right? Goals. I'm talking about just how, what are you looking at? What are the things you're looking at? And how, in what mindset are you looking at them? For example, you could tell yourself, yes, I want to learn how to paint and I want to create artwork, or I want to show my work in a gallery, right? But if you tell yourself, yeah, but it's going to be difficult. Oh, well, I'm going to do it either way because it's going to be difficult, but I'm going to do it anyway. Oh, man. You keep telling yourself this stuff. Guess what? When you go try to do it, it's going to be very difficult because you already prepared yourself. Now, I know this sounds like law of attraction, woo stuff. There's a train. It sounds like, yeah, law of attraction kind of woo stuff, like, are you saying that things are going to appear the way that I imagine them? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not going to pretend to know something I don't. What I do know is that I've read from top people in different industries. People that train others, athletes, people that train surfers, people that train... For example, one of the people that train surfers, I think in Hawaii, one of his trainings is... When he's training the surfers, he tells these guys, right, the new surfers or the surfers that are trying to get their game up, he tells them, whatever you do, right, don't look at the rocks. Where there's rocks, right? It makes, like, oh, yeah, don't look at the rocks. Like, stay focused on your thing. He's like, no, don't look at the rocks because you'll start going in that direction and you're going to get hurt. So it's so interesting, right? It's almost like a it's okay, good boy. It's okay, son. It's almost like a magnet, I'm trying to shush my dog because he's like, he heard me come in right now. He wants me to go pet him and probably take him outside to go run for a little bit. Shana says, never appear the way I imagine a piece to be. Yeah. Kenneth says, gracias. Oh, tengo que irme, que pase un buen día. Igualmente. Pásela bien. So, un día fabuloso, así. So this is what I've been learning lately. Look, don't just write your goals. It's not been until recently. It's been about, I don't know, a few months that I really made it a point to write my goals. I used to write my goals all the time, but it's become such a strong habit for me, right? That if I don't do it, I feel awkward. I feel there's something wrong. I gotta go do it. So I write my goals in the morning and I write my goals in the evening. And if I'm having a bad day, I'll write my goals 3, even 4 times a day to remind me where I'm going. And this is a great thing. But I've learned until recently, I started learning that, look, how you think matters. It really matters a lot. How you think. And I know this is like obvious. People are like, yes, it's obvious. I had no idea how negative my thoughts are. I had no idea because they're subtle, right? I had no idea how negative I think about outcomes. Because they're not so, because I'm the type of person that's like, oh, I'm writing my goals, I'm going this way, I'm gonna talk positive and I'm blah blah blah. But the pictures in my mind many times are like, oh, well, it's be careful because you don't want it to go away. Be careful because you want to, on and on and on. And it's like, it's really what you're thinking that matters the most. It's really what you're thinking. It's good that you write your goals down. It's excellent that you do your if you do affirmations in the morning. I'm a great artist. I don't know, I'm a great painter or this or that, it's okay, good boy. And it's great that you have all these things, right? But what matters, I believe what is even more important is how you are looking at the outcome, right? Like these are affirmations. I'm a great artist. But picture yourself in your mind being a great artist. Picture yourself doing great things. Picture yourself, keep that focus, right? And I know it's difficult for many people. I know it can be difficult because we're so used many times to doing negative patterns, thinking patterns. But one of the things that I've used is get pieces of paper and put them around my studio in front of the mirror and this and that, and then as soon as I wake up at my home, I put it there too, and I'll write down I'm a great artist, right? My work is every piece that I make is mind-blowing, right? Every painting that I create, it's like I have the Midas touch. Everything that I paint is gold, and in the sense that there is no bad painting. Picasso used to say there is no bad Picasso. To make long story short, guys, what I'm trying to say is that every artist that I've heard that has made an impact, a positive impact in their life while they are alive, not after the matter, right? Not after they die, but while they're alive, one thread that goes through them, common, there's a couple of threads that go common. One of them is that they work hard. Another one is that they're very limitless, right? In the way that they look at things. They're like, yeah, that can happen, And another thing that I see, another common thread, is that they have like the self-esteem of a fucking skyscraper, right? They have this big self-esteem, like this huge, and it's not, it looks to us maybe overinflated. Many times it looks like, oh, come on, like, it might even be, we might even get an idea of cockiness, kind of arrogance and ego or whatever. And maybe that's what they need to do. That's how they need to practice it in order to sustain that, right? Because I want to tell you guys, this is probably one of the most important ones. If action if you could add a magic, if you could do a magic concoction, right? It would be action and self-esteem, high self-esteem. That would be, to me, that would be like the magic formula. Let's call it that. The magic formula to any sort of success. It's action, right? Being a person of action and high levels of self-esteem. And most of us don't do enough action, right? Not because we're lazy, not because we are whatever, we are like, I don't know, we spend our time somewhere else or we don't have time or this or that. Most of us don't do enough action because we don't have enough self-esteem. See, they go hand in hand. You have high self-esteem, you'll create the necessary action, right? Because there's a high believability, let's call it that. There's a high perception, right? Realization of yourself. Not in a I'm more, but in a I'm enough type of way. I am enough, right? And this is something that you can even write. I learned this from Marisa Peers. My wife introduced me to the books of Marisa Peers. And it was mind-blowing, right? Because the talks, she's got TED Talks too, I think. I think she's got a TED Talk or something. Look her up. She talks about, I guess she's a hypnotherapist for celebrities and whatnot. But she's got books out there, and there's some stuff on YouTube too. But I mean, just think about it. Like athletes, they have to bring this type of people to athletes. Why? Because they might have the talent, they might have the skills, they put in the time, the effort, the training, but if still they believe that they're not enough, they are going to unplug. They're going to hit a ceiling or a runner's wall, right? They're going to hit a ceiling because they are not enough. Now, this has happened to me multiple times. This has happened to me, and I've talked to you guys about it. This has happened to me in multiple occasions where I'm going, and I'm like, oh, it's a way of saying, I don't know if I deserve that. So, boom, I hit a wall, right? And then it's not until I completely give up the feeling, the thoughts, the ideas, until I surrender, right? I know it's a bit spiritual for me because I need to surrender to it. But I go through this has been the common thing. I go through some time of a couple of days or sometimes even a week, of like emotional uncertainty. Like, I don't know, like I feel, a little bit confused, a little bit out of it. And it's not until I surrender to it and I'm like, okay, I don't care anymore. I should know how to paint, right? I should know what I'm doing. I've been doing it. So I'm just going to trust it and I don't care about what's going up here. Because it's really what's going on up here, right? There's commentary. You're not good enough. Be careful. You don't want to bother people. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You're not painting the right way. Last week you were painting really well and really quick and you had this flow happening. And this week you don't know what's going on. And this is uncertainty, right? And I've been learning that this is because I don't feel enough, right? I don't feel enough. I don't feel like I deserve it, right? This is why people self-sabotage. This is why it's a form of self-sabotage. If I'm running and I'm getting exhibits and people are calling me from other parts of the world, hey, send the paintings, and I feel like I'm at top of my game, all of a sudden what has happened to me in the past, right? What I do is that I start becoming confused. I'm like, what? Wait, what's going on here? Like, I'm afraid that I may not know how to do this, or am I going to be able to continue at this pace, right? At this rate, because when I'm running, right? So I feel like, am I able to? So I used to think that it was all these other things, but I recognize, based on listening to Marisa Peers and just looking at my own behavior, man, this is a wall, right? I'm ready to go to the next stage of my career, and I hit this wall. It's a resistance, right? But it's almost like a little self-sabotage, right? Because of the feeling of I may not be good enough. I may not be good enough for the big leagues, right? Or I may be able to sustain feeling good enough about myself for a certain period of time. But another period of time, it creeps in, right? And I feel like maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I'm not, I don't know. I'm not, at this place. Maybe I'm thinking at this place, but I'm not really at that place, or whatever, right? And I realized, you know what? I don't think I'm good enough, right? So one of the exercises that she says, look, tell yourself that you're good enough. Tell yourself. Now, this has nothing to do with your talent. It's a lie, right? It's a lie. That's why in so many traditions, the mind is referred to as a deceiver, right? Because it's a lie. It's a form to be able to stay in what you know. Like, I know this. I don't know success in like a bigger success. I don't know what that is. So I'll stay here because I'm afraid of that. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how I'm going to behave, and on and on and on, and all these lies, right? But I understand this. So other people call it the thermometer, right? They say that we all have a thermometer, sort of like a thermometer. When it starts getting too hot, right? It knocks you right down to your level. And these are ideas of where you deserve to be, right? Because you're only good enough to where you've told yourself you can be. These are paradigms. It's another form of saying it, right? So I carry this thing around, and I started doing this. I started writing to myself every day, right? I'm good enough. I'm the greatest artist. I'm the world's greatest living artist. I paint with ease. I know what I'm doing. I deserve, right? I deserve all the opportunities that come my way. On and on and on, right? But more importantly, I'm good enough. I'm enough, right? I'm enough. I'm enough. My work is good enough, right? It's a form of reminding, right? Because inside we have that little child. Many of us have that little child, and still, that was yelled at a lot, or was told, or was shown, get out of here, you're bothering, move, or like, as parents, we don't realize that, right? But so we have this little vulnerable child inside of us many times, right? That has a feeling, an underlying feeling, that he or she's not good enough, right? The world is not. It's not really tailored for this little person, right? The vulnerable little child that I believe most of us have. At some point, many of us, I believe, had this feeling of maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe my parents didn't really care about, what I had to do and say, or maybe so many people in society told me that being an artist is like, it's like, you're a bum. What are you talking about, right? Get a real career, and on and on and on and on. So there's this idea of well, maybe I'm not good enough, and then we tell ourselves, right? We tell ourselves, oh, but F it, I'm going to go after it, and blah, blah, blah. But even though you pump yourself up, underneath, there's that feeling. And that's the feeling that you need to, or the belief. It's not a feeling, it's a belief, right? You need to squeeze it out. And this is something that I've been learning lately. One of my mentors says, you will not go to higher levels, success levels, if you don't fix this, right? And I believe that's what it is. It's the beliefs, the underlying beliefs that we have, and a general one, like, as Marisa Pierce explains, the one that you probably want to focus on the most is that you're enough, right? Because we've been told over and over, even if you had loving parents, maybe through their words they've told you I love you, or this or that, or siblings or whatever, but their actions sometimes showed something else, right? Or society, or schools, right? Schools, maybe the teacher told you, don't bother being an artist. You can't draw for shit, right? or whatever, right? Or you're gonna be an artist, you're gonna starve, And then that created a belief, right? Oh, okay, if I'm an artist, oh, okay, well, I guess even though I really want to do this, I shouldn't do this because I'm going to starve. I'm not going to make a living off of it, right? And this is a general belief, and it's such a negative, right? It's such a negative belief because the world is full of them. It's full of artists, right? It's just that we've told ourselves and we've told each other that maybe that's not a way to create income. That's not a way to create a life, for you and your family. But other things are acceptable, right? Other things. But the marketplace, the funny thing is that the marketplace is always with their arms wide open for art. It's something that just doesn't go away. We always want art from one way or another. Either people that have extreme amounts of disposable income, and people that just can buy a few prints, a print here, a print there, maybe, to the point where it doesn't matter how it is, right? People always want art around them. They want art. We want to go to the movies. That's acting, right? We want to go to the ballet. That's dance, right? We want to go to the symphony. We want to be around musicians. We want to go to concerts. We want pictures, we want photographs, we want paintings. We want them. They remind us of what matters in the world, right? Artists put the things that we take for granted. Artists put them in pedestals. They remind us of what is important. I mean, why in the hell would you want a still life, right? In your house, a still life painting of fruits and a bottle of, I don't know, water or wine, or a plate with fish. Why in the hell would you want that in your house? It's like, oh, because it was well painted. No, it's not. Most people think that because that's the surface, right? People are like, oh, it's because it's so well painted. That's not it. The reason why we want those things is because they remind us of the things that do matter, right? Taking a moment, right, to enjoy something on the table, right? Food on the table, a nice beverage, right? Forgetting about the world, forgetting about your problems, and enjoying a fruit, just sitting there and enjoying a fruit, right? They remind us of the things that matter. Just like Mary Cassatt paintings of mothers and childs, right? Mothers and children. It reminds us of that connection to our children, right? So it's not because, oh, it was so well painted. No, she's painting tenderness, and she's painting love. And remember to spend time with your child, or with a child, right? The nephew, a niece, your own, especially your own children, right? Spend some time in the grass, in a garden, and blah blah blah. Like, these are the things that matter. These are the most important things, but we take it for granted because, of course, we need to make a living. We need to do this. We need to be running around, right? Because that's how we're like little ants. We have to be running around, trying to take care of our well-being in our life. But that's what painters do. Painters remind you, hey, okay, while you're doing that, don't forget about this, right? Don't forget about this. What did the Renoir did, right? Renoir painted the passion, right? The passion. Don't forget about the passion, right? The passion of life. He painted it in flowers. He painted it in nudes, in women. He painted it in moments in the garden. Like, don't forget about being passionate about life. Monet, the same thing. Monet painted the garden, right? Don't forget about sitting there for a little bit, right, and enjoying it. Look at nature. Right? Don't forget about that. That's what painters do. Painters get what is forgotten and put it on a pedestal. And of course, everybody's going to relate to that, because we all want that, right? We all want to do what is important to us, what is good for us. What is important is what is good. So that's why you have any type of painter, right? Modern painters, the modernists, and painters after Picasso and all these guys. These guys wanted to remind us also of what is important to us, right? As a species, right? They start doing introspection, like pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to your beliefs, pay attention to your feelings, right? The post-impressionists, uh, like Van Gogh, right? Painting the Starry Night. It's not just, oh my God, he was suffering so much, and it's so well painted. That's what people say. That's the surface. That's what was happening. That's not the message. The message is, look, remember what it feels like when you're looking at the sky. Remember what it feels like, that peaceful sensation when you're looking outside a window. This is what they're sharing with us, but it goes over our head many times, right? So the whole world, like as artists, you are enough. We don't believe that. We may say we do, we may act like we do, but there's this underlying belief many times that we're not enough. We're not enough. No matter what we do, no matter where we go, as the Buddha said, there is dukkha, right? There is suffering. And the suffering is because we're not connected to the higher power. We're not good enough. We don't believe that we are enough, right? So it's a good practice to remind ourselves. Look, carry something around. Put stuff around your studio, around your home. I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm gonna start doing some posters. I'm gonna put them on my website for those of you who need some extra help. I'm gonna start doing some posters and put them in my studio, some big posters, and I'm gonna share those on my website. Just because it's so important. It's just as important as practicing to paint and draw. I think it's even more important. You could get away with being a horrifically untalented artist, but if you believe you're good enough, if you have that belief in yourself, you can get away with it, as we've seen so many times, right? Because it's not your skills. Like, people think it's your skills. Yes, they'll take you to a certain level, but what skyrockets you, it's your belief. It's your commentary, right? If your commentary is positive, where I'm going is positive, I'm going to reach these levels, and on and on and on, then, I mean, you're limitless. You're limitless. And that is what I'm working on lately. And I wanted to share that with you guys this morning. So I'll leave you guys with that. My name is Jose Trujillo. I am the world's greatest living artist. I hope that you guys also find it in yourselves to be good enough. And those of you who are already good enough, then keep practicing, because you can never be too much good enough. You should always be, there's no such thing as too much. Okay, you should always keep practicing that. Remind yourself that you're enough, that there's enough love, and there's enough skill, and there is enough everything. There is enough in you already. There's enough. There's sages that walk this earth already. Remind us of that. It's within. It already is. It's already in us. We just gotta believe. It's why the whole concept of faith, right? We just have to believe. Even if we don't see it, just keep reminding, tell yourself, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough. I paint with ease. I'm a great artist, and on and on and on and on. And is this fake it till you make it? You're damn right it is. It is fake it till you make it. Because most of us don't realize we're sitting on treasure, and we don't realize that we have to start opening that. We have to open that. And we open it by telling ourselves, hey, you have the treasure. I do? What do you mean I do? You have the treasure. Just keep reminding you so that you can look at, so that you can put the right goggles on. Because your goggles are like this right now. They're very foggy. Maya is another word, right? They call it. I think some sages used to call it Maya. It's foggy, right? There's a veil. You have a veil. You have to remove that and watch with clarity. Oh man, I am good enough. I am enough. And when you feel enough, then you can start going to higher places, in your career, whatever that is. Maybe you're just trying to create artwork. Maybe you see yourself creating a collection of work. Maybe you see yourself licensing some work and having your work carried by retail shops or books or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you see yourself in galleries and being one of those immortalized artists in the books, in the art history books. Why not? All of that is attainable. It's a game after all. The thing is that we don't believe we can play it. I'll leave you guys with that. Take care. Be productive. Adios.